Well, there is an ongoing dialogue between Athens and Skopje that is very encouraging. That is happening under UN auspices. It's a bilateral exercise that we respect, we follow with a lot of attention, and we support a lot. Let me say that this is positively reflected, I think, in recent steps that both Athens and Skopje have taken recently, and that are extremely encouraging for the future. I would like to stress here one point. I know very well that disputes, bilateral issues are always sensitive in the public opinions on both sides. And this is the nature of disputes of that kind everywhere, all over the world. And it needs a lot of political leadership, courage, but also, I think, clear determination and vision of what is better for your own citizens. And I think that we have a good window of opportunity now, linking these encouraging steps to a perspective that would definitely be beneficial for the entire region, and so also for two countries that in the region have an important role to play. So I'm positively impressed. We had an important point of discussion with the ministers on Syria. We see the situation on the ground is deteriorating, even if this doesn't hit the headlines of the media so often now. The war is still going on and the humanitarian situation is dramatic. The European Union is keeping the focus very strong on the conflict and on the two key elements that will be at the center also of our next conference. We will host, together with the United Nations, the second Brussels conference on the future of Syria and the region, keeping this international conference focused on two elements. First and foremost, the humanitarian support to Syrians, both inside Syria and in neighboring countries, and namely Lebanon, Jordan, and Turkey. And maybe even more importantly, the support to the UN-led political process in Geneva. We do not see alternatives to the UN-led process. To use a sentence that, as an Italian and as a Roman, comes easy to me, all roads need to lead to Geneva. Every effort needs to feed into the UN-led process, and this is the clear, strong commitment that, as the European Union and member states, we share. We have, as European Union, a very strict sanction regime in place on the DPRK. That is going to continue. We are working to the March 3rd states so that they are encouraged from our side to fully implement the relevant UN Security Council resolutions. But we have always also indicated as European Union that the diplomatic track should be maintained open. And in this last days with the Olympic Games, we have definitely seen some encouraging steps. We know very well that the important thing will be to see what will happen after the Olympic Games will be concluded. It is our intention to work very closely with our partners. I discussed this with Tillerson the other day in Kuwait. First and foremost with South Korea, and we have decided to extend an invitation to the Foreign Minister of the Republic of Korea, of Seoul, in one of the next Foreign Affairs Council meetings in Brussels, so that we will be able to explore together what kind of additional pressure, but also what kind of additional diplomatic efforts the European Union can put at the disposal of the international community to reach the objective of a denuclearized Korean Peninsula. On Turkey, we discussed the Turkish operation recently started in Afrin. We have expressed, as the European Union and member states in the recent days and weeks, concern about first of all, the civilian casualties, about the humanitarian consequences of this military operation, recognizing the legitimate Turkish security concerns, but also making clear that for what concerns the European Union, the target of military operations needs to continue to be Daesh and the UN-listed terrorist organizations. Turkey is not only a candidate country, Turkey is also a partner in the region. We don't always share the same points of view, as that was made clear in some of our previous replies. But we do work together on a certain number of issues, not last of which, let me just mention this, the settlement of the Cyprus issue, that for sure will have to come back to the table at a certain moment.